Hello and welcome once again to my channel. Yes, I'm doing another comic. I'm talking about a comic again today. Yeah, I know, my last video I did a comic. But you know what, this is my channel. I'll talk about whatever I want to. If you guys want something different, you can tell me and make a suggestion. Until then, my soapbox, my rules. Okay? So, past week's been okay. Um, no, I'm not getting right into the talking about what this video is actually about because I don't. Anyhow, had a bit of a scare at the beginning of the week because I need 120 credits to graduate, and by the end of this last semester, I was supposed to have 111, so I only needed 3 courses next school year to be able to graduate. I checked, and it said I only had 108. That's okay though. I checked again today, and it says 111, so everything's all right. My plan is still on track. That's good. Um, Anyhow, that's good. Also, old people are really annoying. They are my least favorite customers at work. Um, they say that my generation is entitled. Personally, I'd shift that onto the next generation, those people of my sister's age and younger, as the entitled generation. Honestly, they're all, most of them. I can't really say all of them because that's only one. A number of them are very entitled, but old people are the most entitled people I meet at work. Nothing is ever good enough for them. They regularly demand things, and they're also incredibly rude. I mean, they say this stuff about, you know, people my age, and I say it about my sister's generation. But no, it's old people are the worst. They don't even understand the metric system, and that's just embarrassing. Um, Anyhow, on to what I want to talk about. So, those of you who know me know that I love Batman. Um, I saw The Dark Knight like 5 times in theaters. Um, I've read basically every major Batman story that's out there, um, and I will tell you that he can beat any hero you come up with. Um, yeah, and Neil Gaiman is my favorite author. So when this one came out, Neil Gaiman, Batman, Whatever Happened to the Caped Crusader, it was an instant buy for me. Honestly, what this is, it's meant to serve as the very last Batman story. The last one. It doesn't matter what comes before it. This is what happens to Batman in the very end. So, the premise is Batman has died, and they're holding a funeral somewhere in Gotham, in some no-name rundown bar in its back room. All the major villains show up: Two-Face, the Joker, Catwoman. Joe Chill is even there, the guy who killed Batman's parents. And his body's lying there in the coffin. And yet, somehow he's still aware of what's going on, that this is his funeral. A bunch of his friends are there as well. Alfred, Robin, Superman, all the major names there. And they're all telling stories about Batman and how he died. But you quickly come to realize that these stories aren't what happened. Each of these stories ends with Batman's death, but Batman watching this funeral doesn't remember dying any of these ways. And some of them are even said to be impossible. One story has Alfred telling of how he became the Joker in order to get Bruce back into being a person after the death of his parents, when the Joker is sitting right there listening to Alfred's story. Clayface tells his own story, Superman tells his own story, and through it all, Batman's just standing there, or his ghost, I suppose, is just standing there listening to all these stories. And we get a nice shout out because he hears a female voice talking to him, asking him if he's figured it out yet. as the world's greatest detective. And he asks her if she's Death, and she says, well, I don't think Death's a person, which is funny because Neil Gaiman wrote Sandman, in which Death is an anthropomorphic personification of death and is basically a person. So that's cool. So they continue on through the stories, and he eventually figures out that this female voice speaking to him is his mother, her ghost, or something very similar, telling him that it's over. Now he has to, he has to pass on. So he goes through it, and he says he has this flashback to the Goodnight Moon story, where he says goodbye to Gotham, all the villains, all his friends, leading up, and it concludes with his mother telling him that he gets a few really happy years as a child, and then he has, which is more than a lot of people get, and then he has to be Batman. So he dies, finally, and passes on. And then the final pages, and this is brilliant, it cuts to a hospital where a baby is being born. And it's Martha Wayne giving birth to Bruce Wayne, Batman. And I have to find it. It's just so brilliant, this last section here. And so Martha Wayne tells him that he has to move on, and she asks, "Are you ready to let it go now? To move on?" Batman says, "To go to my final reward. I told you, Mom, I don't believe in, an afterlife or anything." She tells him, "You don't get heaven or hell. Do you know the only reward you get for being Batman? You get to be Batman." So it's a nice bit of foreshadowing there, and it leads into him, when he dies, he does it all over again. He's Batman over and over and over. It's, as the final Batman story, it's brilliant. I love every bit of this comic. I can't stress enough how perfect a final Batman story this is. Neil Gaiman nailed it, as he so often does with anything he writes. Art-wise, absolutely brilliant. It's a beautiful, beautiful story. You can see kind of some of it there, with lots of shout-outs to some very famous Batman stories. You get shots of the Joker as in his animated series look. He looks like he does in some other comics, and there's this great little panel recreation of him in Alan Moore's The Killing Joke. It's, as far as Batman comics go, this is easily in my top 5. It might even be my absolute favorite. Everything about it is perfect. Batman's written perfectly. The concept is brilliant. No one else could have pulled this off. Neil Gaiman's a master. So, yeah, that's my video for today. I hope you enjoyed it, and well, I don't really have anything else to say. So have a good evening, and enjoy.